All right, Cowboy Nation, really appreciate each and every last one of you all for tuning in. The area of the known versus the unknown. Now, we are entering into a new era with this team, the land of mystery. That is what Mike McCarthy likes to sell to everyone, and I like it. Look, nobody knows whether or not for sure, as far as 100%, whether or not Dak Prescott will play this Sunday. The good thing about it is that the drama will build up and everybody will be waiting at the edge of their seats. So let's listen in to Mike McCarthy.
Something similar back in 2014 with Aaron Rodgers. Is actually he heard it late in the year, and then we were dealing with this, in playoffs. So obviously a different time of year, but there's a protocol that Britt and Dak have a tremendous relationship. So this is something that they've established over the years. So just as far as the particular injury, the ability to improve each day and not have a setback, that's really what we're focused on. So how we play will be a big part of it. Just to make sure that he's full go and he has no limitations is what we're looking for.
All right, lingering injuries are always a crazy thing. Always, Cowboy Nation. And one thing you don't want to have is something lingering from week to week. Now, just because you don't play on a certain day does not mean that the next week it goes away. That's the other part of it. Now, we can recall that there were other players that played through injuries that made it. Now, as far as from the Cowboys' perspective, the $160 million quarterback, maybe, just maybe, that's something that they can say to themselves, let's play with caution here. But I'm thinking that this is more of the mystery aspect of it from Mike McCarthy.
That was at roughly 10 o'clock Central today before practice when Mike McCarthy said Cooper Rush would get some first-team snaps. Jane Slater live now on Cowboys Cam after looking at the early portion of practice. Jane, what do we see?
Yeah, Andrew, we get a very small window as the media to evaluate practice. That happened inside the Star in Frisco today because we had some rain out here. But while we didn't see Dak getting a lot of reps in during the open media portion, that's because we simply just didn't see a lot of those drills. We were able to see Dak Prescott off to the side doing a lot of lateral moves with resistance cords, saw him backpedaling, so that's good for that right calf strain. And I think you've just got to listen to Jerry Jones, who was on 105.3 The Fan this week, who said that he was more concerned about the shoulder injury than he was necessarily about this right calf injury. I think a lot of us initially sounded the alarm because Michael Gallup, the wide receiver on this team, has a left calf injury. We haven't seen him since week 1. He, of course, was back at practice day 2, but it does sound like these are just a little bit different. You even heard him say right there, head coach Mike McCarthy, that Aaron Rodgers has played through one of these, but keep in mind that was late in the season and that was through playoffs. This might be a situation, and I don't know this yet, it's still early in the week, but given their standings in the NFC, do they find themselves saying, and he sort of alluded to this, we don't want this to be a reoccurring injury. In other words, we want to make sure that we nip this in the bud and then we're able to move forward. So maybe they'll see if he gets to a certain point this week, and if they feel good enough about it that thing is healed, they can play him on Sunday. But I would just be shocked at this point if he wasn't under center, quite frankly. I've talked to a lot of sources about this moving forward, and a lot of them seem to think he'll be good to go against Minnesota. But if there was a setback, that might be one of the considerations.
Yeah, that line that McCarthy used stood out to me as well. We don't want this to be a week-to-week thing. We want to make sure he is entirely fine, and fingers crossed that will be the case on Sunday.
All right, so not allowing this to be a week-to-week situation and scenario is always a precaution type of situation, right? Precaution. Practice your precautionary movements here. But Cowboy Nation, when you think of this thing collectively, Dak Prescott, he also threw this in. And he says, unsurprisingly, Prescott revealed that, hey, I cannot say whether or not we're going to be ready to play this weekend. But, I quote, I think that would spoil all of the fun, unquote. It's the mind game. It's flat out the mind game when we look at the complete picture of everything. And I'm not sitting here saying without a shot of a doubt that Dak Prescott would play Sunday. I'm not sitting here saying without a shadow of a doubt that Dak Prescott is still dealing with injuries and cramps or whatever it may be. But we can know this for sure, that Mike McCarthy is refusing to give us information. And he sprinkled some information to the media, and they mask a lot of information to the media, which I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I absolutely love it. You know, we had a big event out there in Cowboys land when they opened up the practice to everyone. Everyone. And Dak Prescott didn't throw that day. He waited literally to the last day of practice when everybody had adverse schedules and couldn't go there to put Dak Prescott out there on the field. As far as his shoulder situation, you know, everybody had the horror stories of the meat falling off the bone, but no one got a chance to see Dak Prescott throw the ball. Matter of fact, reports came that Dak Prescott ran outside to throw the ball. You see, this team is different. I recall last year, they took the names off the back of the jerseys, right? And only had numbers. Remember that? Oh, just last year. They put red jerseys on the quarterbacks. You see, all of this stuff is new. It is. And it's the reason why Mike McCarthy is here, because they wanted a new situation, a new flavor, right? And I get it. A lot of people can look at Mike McCarthy, total body of work, and say, well, it didn't work all the way through in Green Bay land. And they gave all of the credit to Aaron Rodgers and minus Mike McCarthy. But I'm quite sure that there was multitudes of teams that passed up on Aaron Rodgers, right? Or Aaron Rodgers that had some things that needed to be improved on, right? And all Mike McCarthy did each year by year, improved with Aaron Rodgers, and eventually they won them a Super Bowl. And one can argue that the offense side of the ball in Green Bay land always been great. It's been on the defensive side. Now you have the Dallas Cowboys offensive side of the coin. First in points per game, first in total yards, second in rushing, fifth in yards per game. Those numbers are nothing to sneeze at. And when you look at the total picture, one can argue and say, well, that is done because of the head coach and, of course, the offensive coordinator. And, of course, Dak Prescott. Let's not be foolish of that. But let's keep in mind you do have your running backs that's doing their thing. So all of this thing is working together, Cowboy Nation. Post me your thoughts. Post me your concerns down below. But keep in mind that whatever we're thinking, I love it because he got everybody on the edge of their seats. And the Jones family, they are the ones that can probably leak something here and there, but not out of the mouth of Mike McCarthy. Good old football stuff now. Now teams like the Vikings and the other week's team, they're looking at it like, man, we gotta focus on Cooper Rush, but they better be prepared for Dak Prescott. Oh, I love it, Cowboy Nation. Post me your thoughts. Post me your concerns down below. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's go.
But I would just be shocked at this point if he wasn't under center, quite frankly. I've talked to a lot of sources about this moving forward, and a lot of them seem to think he'll be good to go against Minnesota.